Now that one of the most anticipated Game of Thrones episodes has officially aired, we're going to go over the top 5 Game of Thrones collectibles that you can find out there sourcing that are worth big bucks. Stay tuned. Hey everyone, Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler here. We're going to go over the top 5 collectibles from Game of Thrones that you can find out there sourcing. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. If you're new to the channel, definitely go down there, click the subscribe button, click the bell for notifications, and anytime during this video, click the like button if you learned anything new. We're going to go into the top 5 Game of Thrones collectibles right now. Number 5 is going to be DVD and Blu-ray box sets. Now, I've seen some of these at Goodwill, and you can probably find these at thrift shops and garage sales. So definitely go and look out for them. There's a lot of these that are from season 1 to 7. Those are actually pretty common. Also, there's individual ones, and for the most part, the Blu-ray sets go for more than the DVDs, obviously. And there's also some steel book collectors out there that do collect the steel book. And for those that don't know, this is a steel book right here. This happens to be the complete 6th season, just one example. And for those that don't know what a steel book is, it's basically like a hard metal kind of clamshell that keeps everything together. And so if you see Game of Thrones and it's in a metal box, that is what is a steelbook. Now there's lots of steelbook collectors out there that collect Blu-ray steelbooks, and so it's one of those things, if you're out there sourcing, you see, Game of Thrones episodes, or I should say seasons, that are in these steel capsules, as you would say. Basically, it's another thing that holds all the DVDs in there. Definitely pick these up. As you can see, season 6, $200. Now these are brand new, mind you. And season 5, $200. So they're definitely out there. I have sold sets of DVDs that were used, like complete sets, as far as like when I had season 1 through 6 or season 1 through 5. Those could be pieced together and can go for a pretty good amount of money, especially if you go to different stores and you find like season 3 here, you find season 4 there. Over a amount of time, you'll be able to basically complete a set, and I've done that actually a couple of times. So number 5 is DVD and Blu-rays. Number 4 is Game of Thrones books. Now, some of you might not know that Game of Thrones was actually a book from 1996 done by George R.R. Martin. And this is one of the very first editions right here. This is what it looks like. Basically, they almost remind me of the Harry Potter kind of series, when some of the very first Harry Potter books are literally worth thousands of dollars if you can find them. There wasn't a lot of the printings of the very first ones, so those are actually go for a lot of money. Same thing goes for here for Game of Thrones, the first book. This is the first edition. This one's obviously signed, which is gonna definitely have a lot of money towards it. And for those that don't know, you can know if something's a first edition by, if you see in the bottom here of the page, you could see that there's numbers 10 through 1. Harry Potter's are the same way. This one happens to be from 1996, as you can see here. You'll pretty much tell by the silver cover. There's also tons of different box sets. Now, some of them aren't worth that much, some of the newer pressings and things like this, but here is a set right here of some of the very first runs of the sets right here. This actually, they took a best offer for, I think it was less than $1,400. As we can see here, we can shuffle through this whole thing. Obviously, that's the very first book. That's the one everyone's pretty much sought after, and it's the first edition, as you can tell, through the 1 through 10. And so number 4 is the first edition books and the first edition sets, if you can find them, but definitely look out for that first edition in the chrome and blue dust cover. Number 3 is Game of Thrones trading cards. Now, the trading cards have been out for a while, ever since season 1. As we can see here, of course, the autograph cards are going to go for a bunch of money. Emily Clark is the #1 character signature that's worth the most amount of money. She's done Comic-Con ones. Mostly these boxes have came in like hobby boxes, which this is a box right here of season 1. When these first came out, I actually almost bought a couple boxes just to open when these first came out. I don't remember what year it was, but these boxes that are going for $450 now were about $50 to $60 a box. So prices have appreciated over the years. Now these are, I want to say they might even be like 8 years old at this point. And like I said, there's also jersey, well, we call them jersey cards. They're relic cards. Here is a piece of a jacket for Tywin Lannister that went for almost $400. These are production used pieces that they cut up the costumes and they put them on a card. Those are what are referred to as relic cards, or in the hobby, jersey cards for baseball or any kind of sport. The autograph cards are the cards that everyone looks for. Like I said, Emily Clark. Also, this Jason M. Kyle Drago, he was also Aquaman, is a very popular signature. The signature cards are randomly inserted in boxes. It doesn't mean necessarily if you bought a box you would get a signature in them, though most boxes, I want to say how many, I think some of the boxes actually contained at least one autograph. Let me see here if it shows on this one. See, yeah, two autograph cards. It's like playing the lottery. On some of these things, you're probably going to get a character that's not very popular, but some of the popular cards are there. Some of the sets and some of the inserts go for a lot of money. There's also a thing called sketch cards that are inserted. And so this is a sketch card, and let me show you what that's all about. What it is an artist actually draws on a card, sends it back to Topps or Rhinehouse or whoever does it. They pack them back up into the packs when they manufacture them, and they pack them up and they ship them out. So basically they're like one-of-a-kind pieces of art on a card, and that's what a sketch card. This one went for $300. So keep an eye out if you're out there sourcing. People that sell cards, they might not know what they have. And so Game of Thrones cards is your #3 collectible. #2 is Game of Thrones swords. Now these are replica swords done very professionally and done in a very limited run. Some of these have low runs as 500. Some of these things you can find at like Fry's Electronics or another kind of collectible online stores. Some of these I think were even offered through HBO.com, which has its own Game of Thrones kind of like store that sells merchandise. Some of these swords go for a lot of money. The top sword, this one that is a limited edition to 500, I should say, went for about $3,000. Now I remember when they were selling these swords, I want to recall that they were only like $200 or $300. So you can see how much appreciation some of these swords have gone over the last few years. Some of these are actually super crazy, and they made a bunch of them because in the story and in the show there's different swords that have a lot of history and have a lot of meaning for some of the characters. So some of these swords are highly collectible, highly sought after, and a lot of these official HBO ones go for a lot of money, especially the limited edition ones. And you definitely could find those out and about at estate sales and garage sales, people that just don't want to have this stuff anymore, and so just definitely look out for Game of Thrones swords. Now they did produce a lot of other like plastic ones that weren't limited editions, that weren't made out of great metal, or they don't have high quality. Those are out there, so just scan the barcodes, look them up. One of the things to look out for when you're looking at swords is making sure that they're limited edition and that they're officially licensed by HBO. Those are very, very sought after. So a lot of this stuff has appreciated incredibly over the years. Now I want to state one thing. There's a fervor right now, a frenzy of collectors that are into this show because it's so hot right now. I will say that this stuff will most likely not appreciate in the next year or two. They are going to be doing some prequels, I guess, supposedly, that might actually, make the show, still continue on. But I think that the popularity of this stuff is going to be maybe only a few more months, and then it's going to be gone. Last night, or the few days ago, when the episode 8 or episode 3 of season 8 came out, there was a lot of support online, so there's a lot of attention, a lot of people going to eBay looking for something to pick up. Like I said, you got to strike when the iron's hot, no pun intended, definitely on that. But swords and all these collectibles are going to see their peak in the next few weeks, and then kind of trail out there unless there's like a Game of Thrones movie or something that really catapults it back into popularity. But like, I've been in the movie industry for long enough that I'm telling you right now, this stuff is going to cool off. In next year, you'll barely even know. Some of these prices will gone down, maybe even like twice as much, if not more. So just kind of like not a warning, but kind of just for those that haven't been in the collectible game for a long time. A lot of this stuff doesn't appreciate like some kind of fine art paintings and things like that. So be very warned on that. So the number one collectible to be out there looking for are Game of Thrones Funko Pops. We've talked about Funko Pops before in the past. What they are, they're little 5-inch figures that have a little wobbly bobblehead on some of them. Some of the early San Diego Comic-Con ones, I cannot believe how much they go for now. Look at this top one. $14,000. They only made 12 of these ones. They were very special inserts at a Funko event, and they boxed these up, and people that attended these events opened them up like blind boxes, and then they found out what they had. This Ned Stark is probably the most holy grail of all. I want to say normal releases with quotations there, because this was only a Comic-Con event. It was a headless Ned Stark. Now, I don't remember how many of these they made. Did they show it on here? So they made 1,000 of these, which is actually a pretty good amount of limited edition figures. It's kind of high when you really think about it, but these things go for $4,000 to $5,000 now each. I remember when these first came out, you can actually pick these up on eBay for $200 or $300, and at the time that even seemed insane. Prices have appreciated. Now there have been reports of fakes out there because it's such a high figure, a high demand figure. People have reproduced these. You can easily take a normal Ned Stark figure that came out like this and kind of take the head off and paint it and everything and kind of fool people on the most part. But what I'm saying is, just be careful if you're picking these up to make sure that's an authentic piece. What you're also looking for Funko Pops are those circle stickers that you see on the glass. Those will usually tell you if they're a limited edition for San Diego Comic-Con. As we can see here, here's an HBO metallic exclusive. I'll show you what the sticker looks like on that one. As we can see here, this is a New York Comic-Con 2018 shop exclusive. This one was very hard to find. I want to see how many of these they made. They didn't show. So there's lots of different Game of Thrones pops. There's some of them that were the first series that came out that actually aren't worth that much, and you could still buy them today. But what you really want to look for is by searching their name, and the number that's in the top corner there will tell you what's up, and also to look for those stickers. As we can see here, this was a exclusive right here for Tyrion Lannister, excuse me. This one was a pop culture shop that's in Australia, so you can only buy this through that shop. So people in the United States had to actually order this. This thing goes for between $1,000 and $1,800. This was actually something that was mass produced, and it's going for a lot of money. So definitely look up your Funko Pops. If you have these, you might have put these away. This is something that actually kicks me to this day. When these first came out, I remember having a bunch of these. Where did they go? Right here. And when these first came out, and I sold them right the first day they came out, and now these are going for like $1,000 for the set, and they were like seriously like $30 just to purchase. Actually, they were a little more when they do the exclusives. They were a little more, maybe $15 each. So it was like $45. That was many years ago. I want to say that was like maybe 5 years ago, and it's crazy to see the amount of money that these went up for. And you can just scroll down here, go just search by Funko Pop Game of Thrones and do your research. Like I said, you can look up the different characters. If you see ones that say Freddy Funko on them, those were some of the ones that were at those special events, and they've been doing those special events for I think like 4 or 5 years now. As you can see here, this one was from 2016 Comic-Con. 400 pieces. This one sold for $719. So they're still out there. There is a ton of Game of Thrones pops that are in between $20 to $100. There's a lot of them out there. So anytime you come across Game of Thrones pops, definitely look them up. If you find them at a garage sale or a yard sale or at an estate sale, those are where you're going to find them. If you're going to go to a collectible store or some secondhand store, they're probably going to know their prices, and they're not going to probably let go of one of these for super cheap, but they are out there and everything. So yeah, definitely look out for those. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. I hope this video helped you and maybe sparked your interest in learning about some more Game of Thrones collectibles out there. If you get them, sell them while you can before the season fizzles out and the popularity fizzles out. What's going to happen? There's still going to be those hardcore collectors out there that are going to be picking up some of these earlier things, but you definitely want to strike when the iron's hot. Once again, I'm Chris, the Thrift Shop Hustler. Click the like button, subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Take care.
What you know about rocking the wolf on your noggin? What you knowin' about wearing a bird box skin? I'm digging, I'm searching right through that luggage. One man's trash, that's another man's. Granddad, for the late and that rap.